You need to balance it for how people play, not how you think people should play. You can't keep forcing the game to be fun if people are trying to be competitive. Let's talk Killer Klowns. And frankly, it's a video that I didn't really want to be making, particularly just because I really enjoyed the game. And I think it's a cool game and for the most part very fun to play. But there's certain things that is preventing it from going to that level where it feels like it's gonna a game that is gonna survive long term. Main thing is the game obviously, according to the developers, and it's a problem that I think a lot of ASIM games have, including TCM, or at least at the beginning they did, is that they develop their games with the mentality of this is going to be a party fun game. Sad reality is people who play ASIM games, and this is not just developer players, this is just across the board, people who like the asymmetrical game genre are competitive. You can't develop games with the mentality of like, it's just a fun party game, everybody's going to have fun. No, people are going to optimize. People are going to become competitive. People are going to play like they're playing for gift cards, for fucking trophies, for everything. And you need to optimize accordingly. That being said, Killer Klowns at the moment is struggling with retaining players, in my opinion. Not only that, it's also struggling to keep people who started playing the games a couple of weeks ago at launch. I keep playing it, yes, but the more I load up, I do realize what people were saying. I think after you kind of cross that 100 line and you have like 89 hours, how I do, or 90 something hours, 100 something hours, how other people do, you start noticing some of those quirks and kinks that the game has. And I will say this in the nicest way possible. The game was not ready for launch. Neither was CCM. And I don't know what exactly, and this is, I'm going to be as respectful as I can to the devs because I think they've done a fantastic job with the game. But I don't know have to do with the publisher, Alphonic, pushing the game to be released this year. I think the game needed at least like 3 to 6 more months in the oven, minimum. I think it needed a beta as well too, like a longer beta, not just a media access. Those are my main things that I want to say about that. Now, some things that could help the game, and this is just me, this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, you can disagree. The developers don't have to agree with any of this stuff. You as a viewer don't have to agree at all. These are some changes. I'm gonna start with Klowns. I think you should have an initial cooldown for when you can do clownalities, and I'll tell you why. I don't think it's fair, right? To spawn, find a human within the first minute, immediately clownality them. I don't think so. Either you put an initial cooldown to it, or you require that that person has to be cocoon and hooked on a hook at least once before you can clownality. If they escape the cocoon, if they escape the hook out of that cocoon, right, or someone saves them, it's a free game. I think that's my personal opinion. Or you can just put an initial cooldown, how it does to the clown abilities. The clownality should be an unlockable ability through hooking cocoons. I think that incentivizes more cocooning at the beginning of the game and less of the smashing, hitting, automatic killing kind of meta that has been going on for the last couple weeks. The next thing is, I think the respawn for clowns needs to be lower. Not 45 seconds. I think maybe 30 to 35 seconds, more than enough. I'll tell you why. If for some reason two clowns get killed, let's say at an exit gate, right? By the time that you come back, they're already gone. There's no counter to that. You're just literally just gone. The other thing that it's something unfair, and when I play human, I feel like a dick, and when I play clown, it's very annoying, is that when you teleport and you land, let's say next to someone on the boat, let's say like outside the boat, or you spawn next to someone next to the bunker when you teleport, I don't think you should be able to get hit as you're landing because you have no movement. You're literally just getting beat as you're trying to move, and you literally don't even have movement yet. My personal thing, I don't think you should be able to get stunned as you're landing. I don't think you should be able to take damage as you're landing. The main thing I think should happen is that the immunity should last until you're able to move. The moment that the clown is able to twist and move, right, and swing, that's the moment that you should start receiving damage. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's something that might help kind of balance some of the inequalities on both sides, right? Those are some of the changes that I have for clowns, obviously, or like suggested changes that I come up with. Let's move on to humans, right? There's a huge issue with humans getting cocoon and then the clowns just camping those cocoons, right? And the reality is, if there's a clown with a pizza box or if there's a clown with a lure that has it ready to wait for you to pop out with a knife, there's no counter to it. Nothing. Zero. Can't tell you how many times I've gotten absolutely destroyed by that. And it's not, and I'm saying it's not an outplayer skill issue. It's literally, there's no counter to it. If you get stunned right out of the cocoon, you're immediately going to get killed. Simple. That should not be happening. What I recommend, I think, is some sort of anti-camping mechanic, how they have in Dead by Daylight, where either I think personally the best way to do it is to slow down the suffocation mechanic or completely stop it if you're very close to it. Simultaneously, I also think that when you pop out of the cocoon, if the clown is close enough, you should be able to stun them how you would when you're popping out of the cocoon when they're carrying you. I think that's fair because also that also prevents if someone is right there and you popped out really quickly, you can still stun them and have an opportunity to actually run instead of just getting killed again or cocoon again right off the spawning of the cocoon. Something that needs to be looked at is how many guns spawn in the map. Guns were supposed to be rare, according to developers early on in the media access. Guns are not rare. I have spawned into maps where I, as a human, have 3 guns off of spawn. In reality, you shouldn't find 15 guns with 20 bullets each. You know what I mean? I think they need to look at where guns are spawning, how close they're spawning to each other, how many of them are spawning. They should be limited in that regard. The other thing, which is another problem, and I play both sides equally, obviously, because of the queues and whatnot. So I've played enough of both, probably half and half at this point, probably more human than it is clowns as well too. The quick time events of removing stuff, I feel sometimes can be quite fast and quite short, which creates a problem of rushing out in the first 2 to 3 minutes before you haven't been able to find humans as a clown. And also the other problem is still items are spawning way too close to the exits themselves in some instances. So they need to look at the RNG. I don't know what the code for that is. I'm not a developer, so obviously I'm not... I have no idea how that works. In reality, I know that's probably has to do with distance from exits. So I think they need to tweak some of that. Because it's creating a problem where people are just getting everything done within 2 to 3 minutes. Then what happens? People don't want to leave because they don't have enough points, or they just want to keep playing the game. So then they start, just beating on the clowns, which is fine. If you want to find fun like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it will balance also to some of that mentality of I need to kill people fast. I need to escape fast. Vice versa, and it keeps that. Because if people are escaping very fast as humans, clowns are going to counter that by just killing people off of spawn. That's, I think, is fair. The final thing that I'm going to talk about is just a more general thing, right? Please, developers, if you're watching this, just completely remove loading up into matches that have already had 2 to 3 minutes. 30 seconds, fine, whatever. A minute, okay. Why are you loading me into a match that already has 2 or 3 minutes started, or sometimes even 6 minutes? I'm halfway through the match already. Everybody's dead. I'm the only one alive with no weapons, no idea what the hell stuff is, and then a clown pops in within 5 seconds, and I'm dead. There's no fun in that. There's nothing that you can do about that. The other thing, which I know is not the developer's fault, toxic culture that the game has kind of developed in the last couple of weeks. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's an online game. If you don't like it, don't play them. Yes and no. As I said in one of the other TCM videos that I've said, you need to ban those people who behave like that. There's a huge issue with the racist assholes in the game, in the voice chat. Huge homophobic assholes as well too. Sexist pigs. I can't even begin with all those things. You know how many times I got told to go on a live myself, to this and that, being called multiple slurs. And I'm a white straight dude. So obviously I'm privileged in that regard where I don't have those identities, but the people that do, that's very hurtful and very harmful. And someone who is struggling, let's say, with thoughts of unaliving themselves, and they hear that's not good either. So I think the developers need to do better about I don't know what they're doing in terms of in the back end, how the report system works. If it sends them audio file of everything that happened in that game and they look over it. I don't know how that works, but they need to start doing a better job about that. Either you need to hire someone that is directly involved with dealing with that stuff, or you need to do better about reporting. Maybe, I don't know. You need to add some sort of like moderation to it because it's gone out of hand and it's not good, especially when there's a lot of little kids who play this game sometimes, which, I mean, that's a completely different thing. I mean, that's more on, like, on the parents. But these little kids are listening to those people saying that, right? And you're giving them, those little kids, the impression that that's okay. And that's not good. So my thing is, please do better about moderation. Do better about banning people. Do better about suspending people. Those things create a better community, and it creates a more welcoming community to everybody. Because there's a lot of people who don't want to be in voice chat because of the situations that have happened in the game. And that's not okay. Everybody should be welcome to speak on a voice chat. There's gaming banter, like, oh, get shut down, whatever. Like, oh, like, on, like, things that are not harmful. And then there's the things that are harmful, disrespectful, and inappropriate, and just disgusting. And that's not okay. I hope this video reaches to developers or someone that can redirect that to developers, because I don't want this game to crash and collapse. I want this game to thrive, I want this game to grow. And there's obviously something missing in the game that is keeping people from continuing to play, for some people at least. That becomes frustrating. And I know the game just came out a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to give it some leeway and I'm going to give it some time to figure itself out. But there are things that can be done now to prevent this game from completely collapsing to the ground before it even had time to thrive. Got some different in this video. I hope you, if you want to chime in and give your comments down below, your suggestions, write them down below. Maybe someone from the development team at TerraVision and Elphonic will see this, and we can make a change for this game, make a change for the community, and make a better game for everybody, where everybody can enjoy it, everybody has fun. And yeah, you still can be competitive if you want to. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, but developers can build their game and improve upon that to balance it for that. Because if people are playing in that regard, you can't keep forcing the game to be fun. If people are trying to be competitive, you need to balance it for how people play, not how you think people should play. That's it. I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.